Hello everyone, welcome to this video, welcome to my channel. My name is Brenda Campbell. I'm an artist and a certified Zentangle teacher. Today is Mindful Monday. And on Mindful Mondays, I will guide you through the 8 steps of the magical Zentangle method of drawing. I call it magical because it truly has changed my life in so many aspects. But today we are focusing on being present, being mindful, being here in this moment. Step 1 of the Zentangle method is gratitude and appreciation. And in this step, I will guide you through a short breathing exercise that is intended to kind of slow you down, clear your mind, and bring you into this moment. So let's go ahead and begin. Take a deep breath in and exhale out. Breathing in, getting tall, and breathing out and relaxing everything down. And again. And out. One more big breath in and out. Now just let your breath fall into its natural rhythm. And pay attention to it. Put your focus on your breath. Breathing in, breathing out. Thoughts may come into your mind, and that's okay. Just acknowledge them and let them go. We are trying to clear our mind of thoughts. Now take a moment and think about something you are grateful for. Just grab that first thing, be it big or small, and hold on to it and ask yourself, how does this feel? How does gratitude feel? And as we go through our day, we're going to remember this feeling of gratitude, especially as we're drawing today. If we reach a point where we need to stop and kind of reset ourselves, we're just going to stop and take a breath. Remember that feeling of gratitude. Then you'll be ready to begin or face any challenge. And that is all there is to step 1. Step 2 is done with our pencils. And that is corner dots. So we're simply going to put a pencil marked dot in each of our 4 corners. Step 3 is the border. And all you need to do is connect your dots and create your border. And you'll notice I'm turning my tile And that's to help keep my wrist relaxed. And it also helps me get a more consistent line. So step 4 is our string. Today we are honoring Zentangle's Tangle of the Year, which is Huggins. Now Huggins is it's kind of a grid tangle, kind of a funny grid, not a traditional grid. And it begins with circles. Now, I'm not going to draw a string, step 4, because I'm going to draw the tangle Huggins. And Huggins is going to become our string. So this is kind of a monotangle, which is kind of fun. So I'm picking up my pen now, my Micron pen. And Huggins starts, as I mentioned, with lots of circles. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a row or column of circles that kind of go all the way across my square, my space inside my border. Then I'm going to draw another column. Now these are not all going to be the same size, so don't try or worry about that. And then we're going to do one more here in the corner or at the edge. And I'm going to turn it upside down and do another column in on the other side. So this is how our Huggins begins. Now the next step is to draw curved lines, kind of a C shape or a backwards C shape. And this line is going to connect 2 of these circles. So I'm going to start here, and I want it to look like it's coming off of this circle that I drew. Then I'm going to skip this one and do the next one just the same way. Now I'm going to turn this upside down, and I'm going to do the same thing this way. Now the C is going to be backwards, so it's kind of just opposite what we just did. Now I'm going to do this. This is the same motion we've been doing. Kind of this backwards C. And now we have basically our first row. So what we're going to do next is to take, and because it's always the opposite, we are going to come to this one here, and we're going to draw that backwards C shape. And then we're going to do this one. I just turned it upside down so I could use the same stroke. Then I'll do this one over here. And this one over here. And now we'll do the center one. It goes the opposite direction. So are you starting to get the idea? Now, if you want, you can always just go backwards instead of turning it. But I will let you decide which you prefer. And this is not a race, so just go slowly. Close this one off. And this one and this one. Okay, so there we have our Huggins. Now the next step in Huggins, I mean, technically we could be finished and we could just go move on to our shading. But because, as I said, this is going to become our string, we are going to go ahead and we're going to put some more things inside of our pattern. So I'm going to start by drawing a simple aura next to that backwards shallow C shape that we drew. And I'm going to do this on all of our Huggins sections, regardless of what direction they go. Remember, we're just auraing that shallow C. Okay, now I'll turn it this direction and we shall do these. Huggins is, I think it's a really fun pattern to draw, and you can decorate the insides of these little sections any way you like. It can be lots of fun. Okay, I think I have all of my Huggins sections auraed, so I think we're good with that. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we are going to draw a pattern inside, and it's going to look like this is coming underneath when we do our shading. So you can see it's almost like they're woven together with these little marks or pegs or pins between. So I'm going to begin with a really simple pattern, and that pattern is tipple. Tipple is just a lot of circles, as we have discussed in the past. So let's go ahead and put those inside. You can pick whichever direction you want, and you can make these tipple, these circles, as large or as small as you like. Now I'm also making it look like it goes underneath or behind. And you can draw these so that they overlap or not. Again, that's going to be a choice you get to make. I'm making lots of different sizes. Just to give it some more interest. If you wanted, you could certainly draw them all the same size or relatively the same size. That'll be up to you. Now, these tipple are going to go into all of these sections that are this long direction. So these that are going across are going to stay open, and these are going to get the tipple. I've got one more here for tipple. I went over my line there, but that's okay. It'll disappear once we start shading. Okay, so there are my sections with tipple. Now I'm going to turn it this way and we're going to fill these other sections in, but we're not going to really use a pattern per se. I'm going to start at the top of each little section and I'm going to draw this V that comes down. So we have these little triangles now on the top and the bottom of each of the remaining sections. And we are going to fill these in with solid black, and that's going to give us a little bit of contrast and some drama. Okay, now I have my first one filled in. I'm going to go ahead and fill all the rest of these in, and I'm going to suggest, if you are drawing along, that you simply stop and pause the video and take your time and fill all of your sections in with solid black. And when you're done, you can come back and unpause the video. So go ahead and pause that video now and fill in your solid black triangles. Okay, I'm back and we're done filling in all our solid black squares, or excuse me, we're done filling in all our solid black triangles as decoration for our other sections of our huggins. So now we can add a little bit more decoration if we want. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a dot in the middle between these two triangles. You notice all of these are shaped differently. That's perfectly fine. Then I'm going to add a couple more dots. So each one has 3, and they will be as far apart or as close together as our little huggins section will allow. And that is all that we need to do. That's as simple as it gets for our huggins decoration, with one exception, and that is we have all of these circles that we started with. So I'm going to come back. Now, you could leave these just as they are and do nothing, just shade them, but I think I'm going to add a little bit more to them. So I'm going to begin by just kind of drawing around the outside and making that line a little wider. And I'm going to do that on all of these. because we have tipple in here, we want to be able to distinguish these circles that we started with from the shapes inside of our Huggins. Okay, now I've got dark circles around all of them, and I have, the idea I have is to put a little cross in each one of these. So I'm just going to draw these little crosses. They kind of flare out at the ends, but that's okay. Just about done. Okay, so that is step 5, our tangles, and step 4, as we drew Huggins and we drew tipple. So now we're moving on to step 6, which is shading. And I'm picking up my pencil, and I am going to put a line of graphite in between each of these, but I'm going to keep it off of that triangle. So it comes next to the line for the one that it touches. And I can come down here now and do this one. These are the tipple ones. Okay, so now I'm going to pick up my tortillon, And I'm going to start blending this out. Now remember, you don't want to put graphite over top of your solid black if you can help it, because that just makes it a little lighter. And we're pulling it away from the edge of the one on top. And I'm just pulling this graphite a little bit more away from the edge. It's just blending it a little bit more. Okay, over here. Okay, now I didn't put graphite on these open ends, but I think I'm going to go back and do that. So there's nothing underneath this. That's okay. These are just the outside edges. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it for the shading. And I'm just kind of doing a little bit more light blending. But I think we're done. Yep, I think it looks good. Now what we didn't do is any shading in our little dots here. So I'm going to put a little graphite in the lower bottom right section. Just a little dot, not much. Then I'm going to, because I like to do it upside down, turn my tile upside down and then just kind of very lightly, because you've got this black in there. So you just want to do this very lightly. Blending out that in the corner. There, don't know how much that added, but I just wanted to do a little bit more there. Okay, so that's step 6. Now I'm picking my pen back up and we're moving on to step 7, which is initial and sign. And I think I'm just going to put my chop right here. Now my chop is just a stylized version of my initials, B and C. And I'm going to leave that there. Now we're going to flip our tile over. And on the back, we are going to sign it. And I always date my tiles. I'm going to do this off camera, but I always date my tiles. And then you can put any notes that you want on here. And I'm going to put on here that I did this is, let's see, I'm going to say Huggins. It's the 2025 Tangle of the year. And that's really all there is. I think we turn it over. Now it's step 8 is simply to admire and appreciate what you've done. You've taken time for yourself. You've really been able to pull yourself into this very moment and be present. And that's a treat for yourself. So you should be grateful for that. And then also you have this nice little tile that I always like the structure of Huggins. It's just such a fun tile. And there's so much more you can do with it. You can continue to shade further. You could add some love, but I think a simple like this is just fine. So I hope you enjoyed yourself. I hope you drew along. That's why I do these videos, hopefully to inspire you to pick up a pen and actually follow along with me. If you do, I hope you will post them somewhere and tag me so I can see them, because I love to see how everyone does. And remember, everyone's is going to look different than mine, because I couldn't even draw the same thing twice. Mine would look different if I tried to draw the same thing again. So that's all I have for you today. And I want you to enjoy the rest of your day and the rest of your week. And remember, as always, to be you and be happy.